Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. So in today's video, we're going to be going over all the ways that you can get sources of IED inside of systems within Maplestory. So this is a video not only for early, mid, and late game players, but potentially also end game players that are looking to make that swap out of Golix gear and into the pitch boss set. A few things inside of this video will make it a little bit easier for you to make that swap, and obviously this is a great guide for players who are just starting out the game, or even players that are moving over into harder bosses like Lucid, Will, and C10 bosses. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. In this video, I'm going to be going over each system that you can get IED from, and also the total amount of IED that you can get from each system. So the number one way to get IED inside of Maplestory is going to be Legion. Now at 6k Legion, you unlock the entire grid, and this is going to allow you to get 40% IED just from filling out that IED block inside of the Legion system. But also, on top of just putting blocks down and getting the IED from the grid, there are also two characters that provide sources of IED, and that is going to be Blaster and Beast Tamer. Each of them give 5% IED at level 200, and at level 250, they each give 6%. But we're just going to assume that they are at level 200, making that a total of 50% from Legion alone, split up between the Legion blocks and the characters inside of the Legion system. Following Legion, we're going to be going into Links. Now Links are a great way to gain damage in Maplestory overall, but Links are also one of the best ways inside of the game to gain IED. But which characters actually give you the most IED? Starting with Luminous, it's going to give 20% IED at level 210. And yes, for this example, I'm going to be using level 3 Links, or at least the max link skill for each character. Following Luminous, we're going to be going over Ho Young, which gives 10% IED at max level link. And then after Ho Young is going to be the 3 Explorer Mages. Now, understand that this gives 9% IED total, but you do have to get 3 Explorer Mages to level 120 for it to actually give you the full amount of IED. Explorer Mages can only get level 2 links, so you have to make all 3 of them in order to get the max amount of damage stacks when using this link skill. So those are the 3 characters that actually provide you with IED as a link skill. There are only 3, so you don't have to worry too much about link skills. There's not a whole ton of work that you have to put into that, but know that those are the 3 that you need to worry about, giving you a grand total of 39% from links. Now moving on past link skills is WSE. That stands for Weapon, Secondary, and Emblem, and obviously this is going to vary from player to player. Every different character in this game has a correct WSE optimization, and not every character is going to be the same, but my general rule of thumb, or at least recommendation to anybody starting this game, or anybody who's potentially making a mule, is only use IED from your emblem alone. Do not put IED on your weapon, and do not put IED on your secondary. The reason for that is your weapon generally at an endgame point is going to give you the highest level attack lines, being 13% at an endgame level, and your secondary is going to be a place where you either want to have boss damage or attack. The reason why you want to have it on your emblem is because your emblem can only have attack or ignore monster defense lines. So you want to make sure if you're going to have IED on any source of your weapon, secondary, and emblem, that you make sure it is on your emblem. So we're going to use 40% as a grand total here from our WSE. Also note that that's just a optimal setup for a WSE. You don't have to follow it. If you want, you can use IED on your secondary if you're doing it for a mule or something. But if it is your main, generally you do want to make sure that you only have a source of IED coming from your emblem alone. And following with that, we're going to go into the Sparkling Blue Potion. Now this gives a total of 20% IED. So the 2 most common places that people are going to obtain this Sparkling Blue Potion is going to be 1 from boss drops, or 2 from the secret shops that spawn sometimes inside of CRA after you kill the boss. These are the only 2 places that are actually feasible to gain this potion. I wouldn't go out of your way for it. It's nothing great to try and But if you have it, it's nice to use it on a mule or potentially maybe even on your main if you're lacking in IED. But it's definitely nothing to, go and run after. Following this sparkling blue potion, we're going to go into badges. Now, badges are something that is highly overlooked. When you think about IED, you don't really think about badges, but it is a pretty substantial amount of IED when you're looking more into the end game and trying to min-max certain things on your account. The easiest badge to gain IED from is going to be your mineral badge, which gives you a total of 3% IED. And this is only going to be killing just regular old Edelstein mobs. You don't have to go searching for anything. You don't have to go kill any bosses. So it's very easy to get, and I highly recommend everybody to get this badge when doing badges. After the mineral badge, we're going to take a look at the time badge. Now, the time badge, when you look at it at surface level, it seems very easy, just killing Temple of Time mobs. But the thing that is generally difficult to obtain are the 3 boss familiars inside of each region in Temple of Time. The 3 bosses can be a little bit difficult to obtain this familiar from because the drop rate is relatively low. On average, from what I experienced and from what others experienced, it can take anywhere from 30 to 90 bosses killed, and they're not always spawned inside of Temple of Time, so it can be a bit difficult. But if you can get this badge, it's going to give you a total of 3% IED. Now, the time badge isn't necessarily something that I would recommend for a casual player to go after, but if you're bored and you want to do it, definitely go for it. I do, however, recommend it for every endgame player to have. I definitely recommend going out of your way and trying to hunt the 3 bosses inside of Temple of Time, because it is going to be something that is very helpful for you, especially if you're somebody who's around 3, 4, 5 set and you really want to make that swap out of Golux and into Pitch Boss. It's something that's going to make a difference and it's going to help you out in the long term. Last but not least, we're going to talk about familiars. Now, this isn't the most optimal place to grab your IED from, especially if you're a late or end game player, but if you're an early or mid game player, this is a great way to get IED. So if I'm an early or mid game player, I'm really just going to go for 15% IED on a great familiar. I'm not going to try and overkill myself. Now, if you're an endgame player, again, this is going to be another place that you can really exploit to help make that swap outside of Pitch Boss. Obviously, depending on the class, not every single class is going to be able to optimize using familiars as a source of IED to replace from boss to swap into the Pitch Boss set. But if you're able to and you have a 40% IED at unique, definitely use it to swap out of Golux into Pitch Boss. But again, like I said, it's definitely class dependent and it's not one size fits all here. So now that we've gone over all the sources of IED, I hope that helps you guys out in getting a better source of IED, whether you're an early, mid, late, or even an endgame player making that swap out of Golux into Pitch Boss. But that is my list for the absolute best places to get IED for everybody in the game. I hope this video helped you guys out. And as always, if you guys have comments, questions, or concerns, definitely leave them in the comment section below. We love to see you guys' comments or ideas that you guys have for us. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.